Let's bring my friend Tone in here.
Big Sales, how we feeling, sir?
All good, man. Happy holiday to you too, my friend.
Likewise.
What do you think contributed more to the development of Hurts's leadership? How he watched Carson Wentz implode on himself, or how he handled? And I get both are important, but what do you think was the bigger lesson learned? The loss of the job at Bama, or watching a guy lose his professionalism in front of him?
You know, you bring up a good point with both of those things, right? And both, you can make an argument for both of them, right? But yep. I think I would like to say the Carson Wentz situation, because at that point, okay, you're out of college. You know, you managed to up your draft stock to a second round level pick. You left the school. You went to Oklahoma. Managed to get drafted in the second round. So that's in the past now. That's in the past. It happened. But now you're in a situation where you're playing behind a franchise quarterback that many believe is the future. He has the contract. He has the position. He has the Super Bowl ring. And you're pretty much there just to kind of play backup for the most part. Yet you see this guy not really wrap his arm around you, not really try to lean into you. Instead, he kind of approaches you at arm's length, and it's pretty much all business with him between you and between Hurts and Carson Wentz. And you see him week after week after week slowly implode. You see his bad habits. You see that he's not dedicated himself to.
It was watching a slow death, wasn't it?
Yeah, because people got to understand how that season really went, right? It's so easy to forget that Jalen Hurts was on that roster because he barely saw the field. It's so easy to forget. He was in the quarterback room with Carson Wentz every day for several hours a day. Really think about that. You work with someone and you see them slowly driving the stake deeper and deeper into their own heart. Slowly themselves, slowly just stepping on their own toes. He watched him regress. He watched them degrade as a leader, watched him degrade in the organization. He's seen that.
Lose the locker room, all of that.
He saw it. Meanwhile, everyone is slowly gravitating towards you. You become the starter for the final 4 games, the final 3 games. And your first game, your team has the biggest rushing game they had all year. As a matter of fact, they're rallying behind you. The team
was it the Washington game?
It was the Saints game. That was his first game. Saints game. That day the team rushed for like over 200 plus yards. I think Jalen Hurts went crazy in that game. On the ground. He had Alshon Jeffrey playing the best he did all year. He had Deshaun Jackson playing the best he did all year. It was just everybody was just responding to him. And again, you see a guy like Carson Wentz implode. I don't see how that doesn't help you become the leader that you are today, because you know what it looks like when it's not, when you know what it looks like when the job is not done properly. Like you said, everyone loves to tell you, hey, this is what you do when you get to the league. This is what you do. This is, these are the questions you ask. But no one tells you what you shouldn't do. No one tells you the things to avoid. No one really gets too deep into that because everyone wants to be along for the ride.
It's taboo.
Exactly. No one wants to tell you the negative side. They just want to tell you, listen, this is what you got to do. This is what you don't do. You see that guy over there? Don't follow him, because no one wants to rock the boat. But man, you bring up a good point. You can make an argument that Carson Wentz Jalen Hurts dynamic pushed Jalen Hurts to to where he is now more so than the college, because he saw Carson Wentz degrade day by day, hour after hour,
and learn how to play with the money, like Boomer said.
I think that's a real thing, because it goes beyond just
Oh yeah,
it goes beyond just
playing hurt, not playing your best, doing whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, not letting the money influence your game. That's the hardest part. Some guys.
Do you think that money stops you from putting your hand up and coming out?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Okay, some guys are going to put their hand up and say that, I'm a little banged up here and I may not go in, or I may not go the extra mile because I'm self-preserving myself. Okay. And I don't want to really go there and push everything, where guys like Brady and Hurts, the money is a collateral award for what you have accomplished because of having the lumberyard on your shoulders. I think both those men have lumberyards on their shoulders, not chips, lumberyards. And to to me, those guys go. It just seems to me, Tone, when I watch, and no disrespect to like Tua or any of these other guys, do they go the extra mile like Hurts does? Like, will you run through a fire for your teammates? Wentz would never. But I don't think Wentz is alone. I mean, do you think Justin Herbert's going to run through a fire for his teammates? I don't know.
You bring up a very, very interesting conversation because, when you get the money, you can either do one or two things.
And opportunity.
When you get the money and opportunity, it can either motivate you to go the extra mile because you're secure, or because you're secure, it can demotivate you to go the extra mile. If you follow me here, so it's such a unique situation.
The money clouds your judgment.
It can cloud your judgment. Some guys play freer because of the money. Some guys get tight because of the money. And Jalen Hurts, he's put now. Obviously, when the day of the press conference, you could tell he just wasn't.
Wasn't that the most uncomfortable you've ever seen Jalen Hurts in front of a microphone?
It was endearing. It was genuine. It was one of those things that, you know what?
It attracted you more to him.
Yeah, it was almost like he wasn't up there like he deserved it. He was up there like, I'm grateful for this, but so much more left to accomplish. You know what I mean? So I'm totally with you on that, man. You're right. Like, can we really look at? I know Patrick Mahomes will lay it out on the line for his guys. I know that. I believe that, right? I can tell Josh Allen will. He's reckless as hell. I know he will. Josh Allen will throw his whole body into a damn wall.
I think Burrow too.
Burrow will too. Burrow made it to a Super Bowl with the worst offensive line in football. Like, you can't tell me anything about. He played through he got paid and still played through the calf. Remember?
Here's a great example. This is gonna suck when I say this. Do you think Lamar Jackson would run through fire for his teammates?
You know what? I actually think he would. I know this may
even after last year being
last year was definitely something I didn't expect from him. I'll be honest. I didn't expect that. Him saying
it was disappointing.
It disappointed me. But I think it disappointed me because I don't think that's who he is. I don't think that's who he is.
Remember, he didn't have an agent. It was his mom and him. So you can't blame an agent in that conversation.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. And, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say that.
Okay.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I did not expect that to go that way.
Okay. I'm going to too.
Because,
I will too.
Because everybody around him, everybody that's close to him, they say he's the one you follow. He like, I've never heard anything bad about him from his teammates. Never.
You think Trevor Lawrence would run through fire for his teammates?
I don't know, man. If he gets that hair burnt, I don't know. You know what I mean? He loves his hair too much. I don't know.
It looks like one of them poodles, man. It looks like Lassie.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But one thing about Jalen Hurts is you can see it week after week because every game isn't pretty. And this is the NFL. It's not supposed to be. But
yeah, but why do you care about that? Whether it looks
no, I don't.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is he's willing to do whatever it takes to win the game. He doesn't care if he throws 3 interceptions. He doesn't care if he's fumbled. He will keep going. Like, you gotta respect it. You gotta respect someone who's relentless like that. If I had to define Jalen Hurts in one word, it would be relentless.
Yes, and relentless pursuit. But I would also say this and how I've changed my evaluation of Hurts and what I look at now.
Yeah, you've gone through an evolution.
People he beats now. And the fact that I don't really care what the numbers are because we're never going to put him next to those other dudes. Like I showed you the other day, he's in a room with about 20 guys with really good numbers. He's in there. But when you start beating those guys and you've got more wins than those guys, Tone, 9-1, and beating the guys who you perceive as being the elite or elite talent quarterbacks skill-wise, and you're beating them, and maybe you're not putting the greatest numbers up, exactly what's the metric that's the wrong metric here? We're all looking at the wrong metric on him because This guy's going to throw, like Prescott throws for more yards. He has this. And then you look at Jalen's numbers and you're like, okay, well, if you don't really watch the game and know what he's doing and what he's meant and how the offense is run, which most of these analysts don't, you're never going to have a clear perception of what that kid really brings to the game. But so the only way you can evaluate him, Tone, is who he beats. Look at what he's done. He's beat Tua. He's beaten Dak. He's beaten Mahomes already this year. I'm going to throw Sam Howell in there. I don't think he's horrible. I'm going to put his ass in there because he was a leading passer.
He also beat
yardage-wise NFL going into that game yesterday.
Yeah, he beat Stafford, a Super Bowl champion. Who, let's be honest, at that time, you know, I want to make sure I preface it. At that time, Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp was on fire at that time.
I thought they had just gotten Kupp off the IR.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was Kupp's first game back.
First half, and then they shut him down in the second.
Exactly,
half.
You're right. I'm sorry. That was Kupp's first game back. But Kupp was cooking him. but nonetheless, though, he beat a Super Bowl champion in Matthew Stafford. He beat Patrick Mahomes, a two-time Super Bowl champion. He beat Tua, the guy that took his job. He beat Dak Prescott, the guy that last time he played him cooked his boots. And they've only, shockingly enough, they've only played twice in a matter of 3 or 4 years. That's crazy to think, but they've only played twice. Yet he's 1-1 against Dak. That's the reality. You know, Jalen Hurts is a very fascinating quarterback, and his career is something that people are going to constantly, it doesn't matter how far he gets. He's going to be that quarterback that people just can't understand why he's as good as he is.
Is he better than Vic?
Yes, I think he is. I think Vic was more electric. Like Vic was more like Vic jumped off the screen. You know what?
Vic is more like Lamar.
Yeah. Lamar is more close to Vic. I think Lamar and Vic.
Jalen's more like Cam.
I think Jalen is more accurate than Cam. Cam had a bigger arm. He was more talented, but I think I see. We talked about.
I think
this,
he's more accurate than
he's more accurate. He's more accurate. I don't think there's ever been a point in Cam's career where he's completed 67% of the passes.
60.
He always hung around 62.
56.
He always hung around there.
Yeah.
So and then Lamar Jackson. This is the first year in his career where he's, you know, completing 69, 68% of his passes. Like,
but look at the yardage. The reason that number's high, Tone, is because they're not asking him to chuck the ball down the field with big.
I was going to ask you about that.
Look at the yards. And
are they cutting down his attempts?
Tone, this is how you get a guy going right in accuracy. Take a look at Russell Wilson and take a look at Lamar. Do you know what they're doing to get that percentage completion up? They're having limited passes of plus 25, which means lower turnovers. That's why I always told you I never thought Jalen would throw for over $4,000 because Jalen wasn't going to throw the ball over 500 times in a game or in a year. But if you look at Lamar, what is he at right now? 18, 19, 20, 2,000 yards. He's on pace for like 30, 500, 3,600 yards?
No, you're on to something because let me put it in perspective, right?
Take a look at Russell. Russell's only on pace for 3,600 yards too.
Yo, listen to this. Lamar Jackson has only thrown 400 attempts one time in his career.
Correct.
And it was the Super Bowl. And it was the MVP year. And it was only 401 yards.
3,100 yards he threw for that year, but led the NFL in touchdown passes with 36 or 33.
36, right, 36. And this year he's currently on pace for 467 pass attempts. So if everything holds true, this would be a career high in attempts, 467. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts, if I'm not mistaken, last year, how many attempts did Jalen have?
465 or 4 something like that? 463.
I can tell you right now. Give me 2 seconds. 460.
460.
So
missing 2 games.
So Jalen Hurts already has in his career 2 years, not including this one because he's not finished yet, but in 2021 and 2022, he threw for over 430 attempts. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson has only thrown for over 400 attempts one time in his career.
And that's why he'll never throw for 4,000 yards he'll never throw for 4,000 yards, Tone, throwing the ball only 460 times a year. That will never happen.
He's only thrown for 3,000 yards one time.
2017, 3,100.
I didn't think his numbers that low.
There's a reason
I mean, he
that they're
runs a lot.
doing that. Look
He
what
runs
he's
a
on
lot,
pace
but
for right now. What is he
no,
on pace for right now? 36?
He's on pace for 19 passing touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 467 attempts.
Okay, so he's got to be around 3,600 yards, 3,700 yards.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right now he has 2,441 yards on the season right now.
But he's got 70% completion percentage, right?
Yep.
69.8, something like that.
Yep. 69.5. Yep. Exactly. So
okay, then
no, you're right.
Go over to Russell Wilson. This is how they've straightened him out.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Russell Wilson. Look at the number he's on pace for this year when it comes to his passing yards. He's got to be around, I would say, 3,600 yards.
That's about you're pretty spot on.
Okay,
he's on pace for 3,500.
The reason they're doing that is because they want him to cut down turnovers.
But here's the difference, though, right? Even though Russell Wilson is on pace for 505 attempts.
Okay, that'll put him there for
right a 69% completion percentage, 3,500 yards, and 32 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's a hell of a season.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a season.
And if he could put up 350 yards rushing, the Broncos will make it to the playoffs.
Right. So this goes back to your question: would I take Jalen over Lamar? Right? I would, because here's the thing: Jalen Hurts' attempts have gone up every single year, and also the completion percentage is going up every year. So I like those odds. I like those numbers. Whereas though Lamar Jackson, they've intentionally kept his attempts low, and the highest outside of this season, his highest was 66, and that was the MVP year.
You get this. You got a unanimous MVP you don't trust.
Interesting.
Baltimore doesn't trust him to throw the ball 45 times in a game.
They keep him within a certain parameter.
They keep him in a sandbox that it's going to be this, and this is who you are.
So are you saying so help me follow you, right? Because I like this conversation.
That kid Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham and the tight end, I know he's hurt. They're good.
Yeah. Hear me out on this, right? Because I like this conversation we're having. So if a team can somehow, some way stop the Ravens from running the ball, they're almost they're pretty much beatable.
Stopping Lamar is a big deal.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If a team can find a way, because teams in the playoffs have did it. But the
accuracy this year makes me believe that they have given themselves another opportunity. Because quite frankly, I mean, him throwing that many touchdown passes in 17 with only 3,100 passing yards
was insane.
Hey, Tone, I've never seen anything like that in my life for 36 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that was insane. I never seen it before in my life.
3,100 yards. That's like one of the worst seasons by any quarterback. You would never want that as your starting quarterback. The 36 is insane. I think they went 14-2 that year too.
But yeah, that's true. And then when you factor in the rushing yards, 1,200 is like, okay, but still.
Oh, yeah, no, I get it. I probably had like something double-digit touchdowns.
7. He had 7.
He had 7?
Yeah, in the MVP year, he had 7 of them. But still, to your point,
he was unanimous.
He was such a weapon that year. He was so hard to defend. But you bring up a good point. I mean, I'm looking at his game log right now. He's only thrown. Okay, here we go right here. As far as attempts go, he hasn't had a 40 attempt game. There can't be
too many 40 passing attempt games for him.
No. The closest he's come was 38 attempts, and that was in the Pittsburgh game, and they lost.
There's a remedy how to beat him. High volume passes.
Yeah. You force him to throw that ball.
Okay, look at the losses and see what you see with the volume passes.
Okay, so in his losses, right? And they lost 3 times. One of the losses, he has 23. In one of the losses, he has 23 attempts. But in 2 of the losses, he's thrown the ball 31 times or more. Most of the time, in most of the wins, he lives in that 24 to 28 attempt range. So that's what they really want from him.
So when they get him up near 30, that's how you beat him.
The higher his attempts,
the
higher your odds of beating that team.
You stop the Baltimore Ravens run game, and you contain him, it's over.
Yeah.
But they play good defense on that.
Very good defense, and they run the ball well.
They do.
They run the ball very well.
Yeah, and they've improved again. How you turn a guy, that's why the one thing that I saw with Wentz, what they were doing with Wentz that final year. Why were you guys throwing fucking plus 25 passes down the field to first off, you had an injured offensive line in front of the kid. You had nobody to throw the ball to. You were throwing into a force fire with a quarterback who was still recovering from that Seahawks game, and you were throwing him into disaster. How you save a quarterback, you limit his attempts. Even if it comes in losses and you lose games, at least you're not losing your quarterback. Look at his last year before he got benched. I wonder what he was averaging in attempts. It must have been 35.
So okay, here we go. 2020, right? In 2020, that was Carson Wentz's last season as a Philadelphia Eagle.
And he didn't start the last, 4 games?
Exactly. So through 12 games, he had 437 attempts.
Average that out what that is.
So through 12 games, that is, let's see.
Think about this.
437 divided by 12. He was throwing the ball 36 times a game.
36 times a game to people who he didn't have blocking for him and catching for him. It was a no-win situation. There was no way of turning him around. Pat, sack. No one to throw to, sack, fumble, field goal, short field, you're down 7 or 3.
Yeah.
The coaching really fell apart for Wentz around him too, because look at what Sean Payton's doing. Sean Payton has condensed the box for Russell Wilson to play in, and it's resulting in more winning.
That begs the question: would Doug Peterson have been a good coach for Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he would have.
That's why they fired him.
Because I don't think Doug would have had.
But Sirianni wasn't either, because when Sirianni got here,
that's true.
When Sirianni got here, he was the play caller, and then they moved that off that and moved it to a position coach like Shane Steichen, who knew how to build boutique offenses around him. So what they did was, as an organization, they quickly pivoted, and they got the guy because they believed the guy in the building. By the way, that's a lot of trust between Nick, Howie, the owner, and Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, the offensive personnel. That's a lot of faith when you're 2-5 and people in Philly are screaming.
Because think about it, you're right. If you're genuinely trying to bring a guy along, you're going to do everything possible to put him in positions to succeed. In those first 7 games, they had Jalen throwing the ball 30 plus 40 times, 35 times. I'm like, hold on, wait. Are you trying to groom him, or are you trying to just throw him into the fire?
High volume will always result in high volume turnover plays.
Exactly.
That's great. When the Bucs were 7-5, and Arians was believing in that plus no risk it, no biscuit, plus 30, plus 25 plays. Brady goes like this: we need to condense this shit. They condensed it, went on a run, won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl out of the wild card.
Yes, exactly. So let me ask you this now. We know you and I both love Bruce Arians. But is there any credence to the fact that that organization didn't do Jameis Winston they did him a disservice because they forced him to throw the ball 35, 40 plus 50 times a game most of the time?
You see, you got to remember something with Bruce. Bruce had a restrictor plate on him in Pittsburgh. Either Mike Tomlin or Bill Cowher. There was a restrictor plate when it came to tossing the ball down the field. The first Super Bowl that they won, Bruce won a couple Super Bowls being the OC up there.
Right.
But you know what they had? They had a running game. They had Jerome Bettis. They were able to be 3rd and short. Ben didn't have to be a superstar hero, which meant what? Low attempts. The key to winning is low attempts. When you got guys in a shootout, man, you're counting on so much shit. Look at the David Tyree play. Think about that play of all plays. Is that really a football play, or is that the luck of the football gods and what happened to David Tyree?
Right, and Eli Manning, Eli closed his eyes. Eli closed his eyes.
Right. David Tyree was out of the league in 2 years. I mean, it wasn't like he was. So, to me, that's why I brought that one stat up. Look at where the Eagles are right now. They've scored 15 passes throwing the ball and 15 rushing. They're trying to come to center here with this.
Right.
I think Jalen Hurts' best performances are between 25 and 29 in there, 10 rushes, 70% completion, 68-9, and let the chips fall where they may. If you win, you win. If you don't, you're not going to get killed. Like Dallas will go like this. Let's throw the ball 45 times. Dude, that is the fact. You know what happens when you're a football team that throws the ball 45 times and you have 7 3-and-outs? You stop the clock, you give another possession to the opponent to get back in the game. People think the passing yards, I think it's the most overrated stat in pro football because it allows teams to get back into games if you're not hitting on all. Look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs allowed teams to now in the second half come back on them. Why? Because they can't catch the ball. Too many drops, 3-and-outs. He has high volume in attempts. He had more attempt volume than Jalen did in that game.
Yeah,
I thought both guys were not great, but Jalen was more effective in making the right play.
It was double. Literally, listen, Mahomes threw the ball 43 times in that game.
He threw the ball 43 times and didn't have 200 yards passing.
Right. And Hurts threw the ball 22 times.
That's freaking how you win.
It's half. So
that's
listen
how
to this.
You win.
Listen to this. The past 2 games, Jalen Hurts, 22 attempts against the Chiefs, 23 attempts against Dallas, right? Previous games, right? Washington, Miami, Jets, Rams. Listen to this. Washington game, 38 attempts. But they had to. That was kind of a shootout. But anyway, nonetheless, Washington 38 attempts.
Behind.
Yeah, right. Miami, 31 attempts. But even then, I like 31 attempts for Jalen.
I'm okay with that. Between 25 and 31, sure.
I can live with that. New York Jets, 45. That was his worst game of the year. 45.
Think about that. The game they lost is because he had high volume attempts.
Mm-hmm. They didn't do a good job at managing that game overall.
Panicking is attempts.
Right. Rams, 38 attempts, right? They won 23-14. Washington again, 37 attempts. They went in overtime, all that kind of stuff. Tampa Bay, 37 attempts. Minnesota, 23 attempts. New England, 33 attempts. Jalen Hurts has only thrown for under 30 attempts 3 times this season. Everything else has been
the last 5 games. He hasn't had a 300-yard passing game, but 1.
Yes. Yep. It's and that was the Washington game. In the last 5, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
But look who the wins are against.
Exactly. You beat the Chiefs, 150 yards. You beat Dallas, 207 yards. I said this, right? I said the key to that Chiefs win, you need to have a balanced attack because it's going to be important for you to control clock, control time of possession, sustain drives, keep the opponent off the field, right? I don't get caught up in the ego side of it. I care about winning the game. I care about protecting the ball. I care about being efficient. And at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts' style of play, that's irrelevant to me, right? Is he efficient? Is he protecting the ball? Is he winning the games? That's what matters to me. And again, this goes back to people are going forever for some. I was talking to Rob about this earlier. People have a hard time trying to really talk about Jalen Hurts in his game, and they can't quantify or qualify how he's doing what he's doing. They look at him as like, well, he doesn't have the biggest arm. He's not the fastest. He's a tweener in every aspect of the word, but he wins.
Yeah, but didn't you say that about Brady when all those checkdowns?
We did.
Because Manning had all that talent around him, and everybody. There was a debate, Tone, who the better guy was, and everyone kept going. All Brady does is kick field goals to win, and check down. Vinatieri, check down. Vinatieri, check down. Brady didn't get his love and his flowers until the back end of his career.
So what do you
think?
think?
Here's something crazy. I think Brady didn't get his respect until he won the Super Bowl in Tampa.
So let me ask you this then, right? Bringing it to today.
Jalen's got a long way to go before he's going to get his respect.
So let me ask you this, right? What's the key then to beating the Bills in terms of the quarterback, right? Is there a sweet spot for Josh Allen where the more attempts he throws, the better the chances the Eagles have of winning that game. Like break it down for me, right?
Here's my problem with, and I checked in and I heard you guys talking about that Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. It's true. He leads the NFL in interceptions, but he also leads the NFL in touchdowns.
He's a gunslinger by every minute of work.
Hey, but he's Brett Favre modern day.
Mm-hmm.
He's a more mobile Brett Favre, and he's going to throw it to you. My only problem with Philly, that'd be one thing if you guys were capitalizing like the Cowboys were, and the Cowboys turn those things into pick sixes, like the DB for the Cowboys. But you're not. You're down like 17th or something down there when it comes to giveaway takeaways. It's nothing like. And plus, what's the one thing that the Bills defense does do? Kind of like you guys, they don't give up points. They're fourth in points allowed. So when you say the Bills are going to turn the ball over, they are. But what are you going to do with it? You've done nothing this year with turnovers. Nothing.
That's a good point, because I'm looking at. Here's my mindset about it, right? I think I do think the Bills are going to turn the ball over at least twice on Sunday. I do believe that.
That's the trend.
That's the trend. Now, the Eagles, even though they forced 2 turnovers against the Chiefs, they didn't score. They didn't score off those turnovers, and that's my problem right now. I need the Philadelphia Eagles offense to take advantage of more opportunities and create more opportunities for the offense, right?
I think they're too predictable, and I think Brian Johnson struggles at that massively.
Yeah, Brian Johnson, again, the jury's still out on him. Another thing I will say this though, right? The jury is very much still out on Brian Johnson, and he has not. I'm not sold on him at all. But I do have to acknowledge that red zone efficiency has improved dramatically. Dramatically. There was a point in the season where they were ranked like 26th or 27th. Now they're ranked 9th in the NFL in red zone efficiency. So that he's somehow, some way got that figured out.
Because they're running the ball more down there.
You see, it's funny you say that, because there was points earlier in the season where I saw them trying to implement the quarterback run game down there, and it wasn't working. So,
but they're running. Would you agree they're running the ball now more down in the red zone now?
I think they're more effective somehow. I'm having a hard time figuring out why they're more effective, but they're more effective.
Sometimes that goes in ebb and flow.
Yeah,
I mean, so, Tone, if you're doing the same shit over and over again, and it doesn't work for 3 weeks, all of a sudden it starts to work for 6 weeks. It's sometimes just,
because that quarterback draw play we saw that all year, and they couldn't get in. It was always a tackle for loss. Or
I think you keep sticking with it.
Yeah, I agree. This game this Sunday is going to be interesting because I think it's going to come. I say this about every week, but it kind of holds true every time. The team that protects the ball the best and the team that takes advantage of the red zone opportunities the most is going to win the game. I think I will say this though, and I know I'm going out on a limb here, right? I understand the Philadelphia Eagles throughout the season have not forced the issue on defense that much. They haven't forced that many turnovers. I totally understand that, and that's completely factual. I think it's going to be important, and I think they will build off of that Chiefs performance in the second half. You forced 2 turnovers in crucial spots. I just think, and again, I'm going out on a limb here. I have no data to back it up. I have no stats to back it up, but I just believe that they're going to be able to build off of that Chiefs second half performance. It's going to carry over. Again, maybe this is me being a fan.
Here, I'm gonna throw this at you here. I don't think you take anything away from that Chiefs game, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Every week is a different opponent with different challenges, different personnel, different coaches, different settings. It's at home. A team like the Eagles takes advantage of the way that they've played for 9 games. Not the Chiefs game. It's the accumulation of your hard work on how you've been able to adapt like a chameleon. Now, if you're saying to me, Sills, they're going to come out of that Chiefs game and they're going to have momentum because of how they adjusted in that game, especially in the second half, and how they adjusted in the Cowboy game, and how they made some great blitzes and stunts, and how they ran the ball and how you were adjusted. See, to me, it's not so much what that game meant. How have you handled yourself in 9 ball games? How have you handled yourself from going from point A to point B? You had to win this way one week. You had to win that way another week. Yeah, I think the more versatility you show makes you harder to game plan
for.
against.
Interesting. I mean,
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You become so difficult to game plan because, hey, okay, they didn't run the ball here. They threw the ball here and won. They didn't get to AJ, but they got to Devontae. They made a play. They didn't really do anything in that Chiefs game. How did they beat us? They made adjustments in the second half defensively. Shit, the secondary won the game, and the quarterback making a play late in the ball game. Their special teams has improved. I mean, there's so many things that, to me, how I look at a team, it's not what you do against one opponent or the Cowboys. It's all of it. I mean, what made those Patriot teams so good? Remember I told you 1 week Sony Michel would be active. Next week he'd go for 275 yards. The next week he's not active again. And they would just go with personnel that had matchup difficulties, matchup situations. To me, what Belichick told me years ago with Jimmy Johnson, how he attacked teams, he never looked for your strength, Tone. He was always looking for the least intelligent, and by the which means
I know what you mean.
Experience.
Right.
Is he a free agent? Is he brand new? Is he a rookie? Who's the lesser guy in the corners? I'm going to go here. You're trying to give yourself as much opportunity to succeed in matchups, more so than what am I going to do against Chris Jones? I'm not going to do anything against Chris Jones. I'm going to try to run away from Chris Jones. You're trying to find, Tone, the one area on the team that you see a problem with. And, of course, it's in Buffalo. Here's something here, what you just talked about. There's been a pick in 7 straight games for Buffalo. Okay, if you're Philly, you've got to take advantage of some of this and at least turn say you get 2 picks. You got to at least turn it into 3 points. You
at least 10.
Just not give
I go far as say 10. You got to get at least 10 points out of 2 picks.
You want to go 10, that's a kind of a lot. But if you want to go 10 points, I mean, if you get 2 picks in a game and you don't make anything of it, and you don't even get field position out of it, and they score, say, it didn't matter if they get 2 picks. Okay, see, the problem with Allen is he fumbles on his own 10, or he'll fumble on your 10.
Or he'll throw a pick in the red zone.
Or like that. Or he'll throw a pick in his red zone or your red. All of his mistakes, in my opinion, if you go back and watch him this year, are going in or coming out. And that's why when you look at his numbers, you're like, shit, he's in the top 10 or top 5 in every single statistic. What's going wrong here? Where he makes it, see, Jalen makes his mistakes in the middle of the field. This kid makes his mistakes going in or coming out of the red zone or in the red zone, dropping the ball on the goal line, dropping the ball or throwing a pick, like you say, in the back of the end zone. His picks are brutal.
Do you think, let me ask you this question, right? I don't think I've asked you this before. Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles have the most counter punches out of any team in the NFL?
Yes. Including the 49ers.
Interesting.
Yes. Because Purdy's not going to take off running.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I was talking to Robert about this.
See, what's the separating dynamic in San Francisco versus Philly? Experience in the quarterback and a mobile quarterback. Purdy's not going anywhere. You know where he is.
You're right. You're right. You know, I was talking to Rob about this earlier, right? I said, what makes the Philadelphia Eagles so dangerous, what makes them so special is, and I kind of use like, hear me out on this, right? Follow me here. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're so good at, and we talked about this before, they're so good at forcing you to play at their atmosphere. They force teams, no matter what you've done against anybody else.
They elevate your level of play.
When you play against them, for example, think about it like this. If the Eagles are on the water and the other team is on the land, they're literally going to pull you from your environment and drag you into the deep end to find out if you can swim.
Chiefs are like that. Chiefs do that too.
If you're in the water, they're going to find a way to drag you into the desert to see if you can breathe. You know what I mean? Like they find these ways, no matter how good or bad you are, they find a way to put you in an environment that maybe you're not familiar with,
in the depths.
and they try and they manipulate and they morph and they adjust and they just continue to tweak as the game goes on, and they just find this way to win.
Why is that? Because they played in that environment.
They've done it so many times. They've done it so many times. I also think it goes back to the quarterback position. The guy doesn't give a damn about how it looks, what his numbers look like. All he cares about, did you win the game?
But you notice about the team? Not everybody believes that, because
everybody has to buy into that too, right? You hear what I'm saying? Everybody has to buy into that belief.
Yeah, but that's why AJ sometimes he's you know what he does? Here, I tell my wife this all the time. You know who AJ is? AJ's on the boat with Columbus, and he's the guy that constantly screaming, the world is flat. We're gonna fall off. There's no land. There's no land. And I tell my wife, if you were on the boat with Columbus, he'd have turned around. I wouldn't like this. I go, AJ's that kind of guy. You know, there's guys on the boat that tell you they believe, but I mean, when things ain't going their way, and you see a little adversity, they think the world is flat. Yeah. So you got to kind of keep reminding the guy.
But listen, follow me. I got you.
That's the faith.
Yeah.
And they get this. That's
not many teams have that.
That's why when you keep having success like that, you bring more guys. You see what's happened is Jalen Hurts has reeled all these guys in. He's reeled them in. Where Wentz couldn't reel them in, he's reeled them in. Hang in there. Hang in there, Goddard. Bitching about his passing part of the offense. Before he got hurt, he started to get reeled in too. Hey, man, I'm starting to pick up my uptake. I'm starting to get, I mean, you got to remember, man, not everybody. Tony, my wife coaches rugby, and I tell her this all the time, and probably you understand it too, because you've played competitive sports. Anyone who knows this. My wife will ask somebody, hey, do you guys know what a hip tackle is? Everyone will go, yeah, put their hand up. You get on the field, half the people know what a hip tackle is. I asked you a question. If you knew what it was, why'd you tell me? I didn't want to tell you in front of everybody. People aren't going to tell you the truth because they don't want to embarrass themselves sometimes, because they don't want to show their true character sometimes. You see character in adverse situations. That's why what I told you, how this team wins, like a game like Kansas City, dude, everyone kept their poise. And what came out of that Kansas City game, to me, nobody played great in that game. Nobody. You won. Dude, do you know how many people he reeled in? Jalen Hurts probably did. That game did more for his leadership and for him as a Philadelphia Eagle quarterback than any quarterback you've had in the last 50 years.
Yeah, and real quick, just to put this, just to add this in there, Sills. I was intramural water boy of the year. So best believe as long as we won, we all got medals. We all got to touch the trophy. So that's the furthest I've gone in competitive sports, full transparency. Intramural coach and water boy of the year. I'll tell you that much. But to your point though, you're right, man. Like there's in order to get where you got to go, in order to get where you want to be, everybody has to buy it. Everybody has to believe in that message. And you notice
that level where you're going, you can win, Tone, by not having everybody on board. But when you want to be that guy, top Brady and Brady shelf and that shit, you got to have the entire 53 mile. I think Carson Wentz probably had 25 guys in the locker room that were believers. I think Jalen Hurts has 53 guys plus the 19 on the practice squad.
They're all even talking.
They're all in.
They're all talking like him. They're using his lingo. They're keeping the main thing, and Ren is like they're adopting his philosophies. They're adopting his way of digesting the game. I'm telling you, man, Jason Kelce, he's going to play this game for as long as he physically is able, as long as Jalen Hurts is that quarterback. I firmly believe that.
I think he's going to play 3 more years.
Man, that's
long as he keeps playing at the level he's at now
and stays healthy.
Shit, how about this? I'll take 10% less of a Jason Kelce in 3 years, because you know why? His knowledge of the game will compensate for that lack of 10%.
Yes,
you understand?
agreed.
Howie Long said this years ago. He says, you know what's crazy? You become so smart about the game. You understand the game more. The problem is your body's breaking down in the process.
Mm.
And you become smarter in the game. You know all the things, but your body's going over here. The key is to try to compensate with this knowledge of the game to close that dynamic, because you're not as fast, you're not as strong, you don't have the same flexibility. So what you do is you keep compensating to keep that thing close, because you're never the same from your first year, Tone.
Okay.
You're just never the same. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, let's do it.
You think that that roster spot was open for Shaq Leonard?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Me and Rob was talking about it earlier, and we were contemplating.
Dude, nobody thinks that thing's open for
like,
Queasy Watkins, do they?
It's so funny, right? Me and him were talking about it, and we were like, okay, you waved Derek Barnett. This has to be a move for Shaq Leonard. And then we just looked at the entire landscape and said, okay, Quez Watkins is coming off IR. But then me and him both looked at each other like, nah, I gotta be for Shaq Leonard. There's no way that's for Quez Watkins. No way. So I have to think that it's for you. First of all, you didn't just clear a spot. You cleared a defensive guy at a position he plays, basically. Edge rusher or linebacker, however you want to put it. You said something
Look
interesting
at how
earlier.
they did that, though,
Yeah.
so publicly.
So publicly.
They cut an edge rusher without telling the guy privately, or they may have told him privately. And then guess what they did? We're going to clear up a roster spot. This probably, I think this, I got goosebumps here on this. To me, this makes it seem that it's closer than you think. And Shaq Leonard said, give me 24 hours.
I like where you're going there. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. The fact that
to make my decision with my family. And by the way, you know what I love about the guy? And if you don't love about him, the day he was cut, he's out passing turkeys out.
I know, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Isn't that a guy you want in your roster? I'll tell you, I'll take him.
He fits in. He fits in. He could have been, he could have been anywhere else, but he was passing out turkeys the day he got cut, right? The day that goes a long way with me. And, I just think right now where the Philadelphia Eagles are, bringing him in, it can't hurt you. It can only help you. It can only help you.
That's not Robert Quinn.
It can only help you. He's much younger than Quinn. I think he has more left in the tank. See, with him, it's never about talent, right? I think he's in. It's strictly. Listen, you don't go all pro and Pro Bowl first team in back to back years, 3 years in a row. Like that doesn't just go away.
When you say all pro to me versus Pro Bowl, dude, you could be the 15th alternate and get to the Pro Bowl. When you say all pro, that means you're the best player in the league at your respected position.
Exactly.
In both conferences.
Exactly. Great. Yes, exactly. So, okay. That's not
just a dude.
Real quick, right? I want to pull it back to the Bills, because I want to know when you and I both have the Eagles winning this game. Yeah. I said 30-21.
I got 31-21,
which is insane, by the way.
Right. I wrote it down before. I got 31-21.
Now, for me, I look at it like this. I think there's going to be a point in this game where the Eagles are up 23-21, and the Bills have the ball, and somehow, some way, the Bills turn the ball over. Who cares how it happens? They turn the ball over. Eagles get the ball at the 50-yard line. They drive. They score. Nail in the coffin. How do you think this game plays out?
I think it'll be a late game turnover that turns into a pick six.
So you and I the same mindset.
I don't think it's in the middle of the field. I think it's going to be something like he's going in or he's coming out. I think his mistakes will be made in the red zone, either in his zone or in the Eagles zone. And I think it's going to be something like that, where it's a 3-point game and all of a sudden it turns into a 10-point game and it's something like a minute left in the game. I think this is a fourth quarter game, but I think he makes a fourth quarter mistake. And then that score won't look like how close that game was actually. And that's why I don't think this is going to be just some walkaway game.
Right.
But I think, like I said, it'll be a 3-point game, somewhere in there, 4-point game, somewhere in there. And I think he throws a mistake or drops the ball on the carpet. Now, if he takes care of it, and here's something else too. somebody that I'm a little concerned about, and some will go, why are you concerned about him? And I'll tell you, this James Cooks kid, I wasn't concerned about the Kansas City running game. Well, that was a mistake because they went for 168. And, he's the same kind of quarterback like Mahomes. And the only thing that's different to him, he doesn't make those as many. The problem with here's the two problems with Mahomes and with Allen right now. Mahomes has a situation where it's not really him. It's the personnel around him with too many. They lead the NFL in drops.
Right.
Allen, on the other hand, leads the NFL in turnovers, which is fumbles too. Okay. So to me, I mean, there's that 6-5 record, Tone. You clean that shit up. They're a 2-loss team.
Yeah.
But you don't get extra credit for what people think if you clean. That's got to be on the QB.
Yeah. They could easily be 8-3. Easily be 8-3.
Mahomes, you kind of see what's going on there.
Right. Let me
know what's going on, but when you watch it, that's a quarterback issue in Buffalo.
Let me ask you this, right? We talked about a desperate team can be a dangerous thing for the opponent, right? But when we talk about it in the context of Josh Allen and the Bills, but again, in particular, Josh Allen, and knowing what we know about him and how he plays the game, wouldn't that logically, wouldn't desperation actually work against his style of play? Because whenever he plays hero ball when he doesn't even need to be desperate. But now they're in a desperate situation, which can probably lend to him playing more hero ball. What are the odds of desperation working against him rather than working for him?
Better coaching. He throws that football into tight windows where, again, this is the stuff we talked about earlier with Hurts and with Lamar and with Brady and with Russell Wilson. They need to bring the volume of throws down for him. Stop having him throw the ball 35, 40 fucking times in a game. You're just looking for problems and for him to throw it in. You know what that does too, Tone? When you have a guy throw the ball between 25 and 30 times, that makes him pick his times in the game better. Instead of just thinking I can live another day, it makes you pick your spots better. When you're in games like that. You're not going to throw it in. How many times have we watched Josh Allen throw it into triple coverage? What's the point of that? You know the percentage of you completing that are? 8%. Do you know what the percentages are when you're on first? Get this. Here's how it goes. 3rd and 3, 62% completion percentage that you're going to get that first down. A high number. 3rd and 5. Massively goes down to 39%. When it goes to 3rd and 7 or more, you're floating around 7% chance of you completing that 3rd down. And you throw it into triple coverage, which is even more insane, where you have a less than 3% chance of completing it. Why would you throw the football in a situation where you have no chance of completing it or getting an INT? There's more disaster on that than there is chance of success. Why would I put my quarterback in? That's coaching too. You got to coach this guy off the ledge.
Josh Allen is a guy that I feel like he needs to be studied because there is a common theme between him and Brett Favre and how they play the game. And I want to know what that is in a guy's mind.
How many times you see Mike Holmgren throw his headset?
What is, you played this game before, right? What is it that goes through a player's mind that makes him believe he has to do everything?
Because that's what Jordan had. But sometimes
is it lack of trust?
Talent.
Is it a lack of trust?
No, it's overconfidence, and it's just something that you look here. Let me give you a small thing. I didn't like anybody coming in for me because I didn't think anybody could outplay me.
Okay.
I didn't think anybody was a better run stopper than me. Almost every defense I ever played on, we're number 1 in defense in the country, or we were one of the top units. Anything I didn't believe in giving up points. I loved stopping the run and getting to the – not happening. And every time they took me out, I used to throw my helmet. And at this tone, I threw my helmet. That's why I told you this. When Butch came over to me and goes, pick your fucking helmet up. Ever see that again, you'll never go back in again. I'm like, well, don't put lesser people into me. And so it's just it's an ego thing.
Okay.
It's ego.
And Dayball was the only one that was
Control
able to
the
really
ego.
control it. Because if you think about how Dayball is in New York, he's a fiery guy himself. So
he's gonna tell Josh Allen to sit the fuck down.
Whereas though seems like Dorsey, and we have no idea what Joe Brady's going to do, but they so far have been a little bit. Do you think they've tried too hard? Do you think they've tried too hard to be his friend rather than be his coach?
Absolutely. Well, $48 million will do that, dude. $48 million makes coaches act weird around you too, you know.
Now that begs the question. I know.
Same with Brian Johnson. You think Brian Johnson is really Jalen Hurts' friend around a $50 million guy? You think that dynamics changed a bit?
I think.
Hey, we may have been able to play with Tonka toys when we were younger, and we may have gone to like swing sets and like seesaws and shit. But now
ice cream parlors and all that. $1
million a week, dude. This guy's in a whole different. Hey, this is a whole. I'm wearing a Timex. This guy's wearing a Rolex. There's a whole different guy there.
Right. You know, you bring up a good point. You know, it's so funny. I think that's why Sirianni and Jalen work. They're so different, personality-wise. So different, right? Nick is this super fiery guy that's always wearing his emotions on his sleeve. Jalen is very, very measured.
Why do you trust Nick? I hear you all the time.
You know what it is?
I hear you and Rob all the time. And not only you, but everyone in Philly. Why do you guys wave his banner? What makes you trust him?
I'm glad you asked
when
that,
you
right?
know even the quarterback is questioned whether he trusts him.
I don't know if it's necessarily a trust thing. I think it's more so I respect the distance traveled, and as much as I probably can criticize certain things about things he does, I like his. Well, let me make this clear. I like his personality.
Did you like him when he was 2-5?
At 2-5, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I kept screaming every week. Why are you forcing him to throw the ball this many times? What is going on? What is the problem? Wake up, Nick. Are you trying to coach him or throw him into the fire? Which is it? You know what I mean? Like, so I was pissed off at 2-5. But to your point though, I like Nick, and I guess I do have some kind of trust in Nick, but I trust him because the results dictate that.
You think another coach couldn't come in here and do what they're doing?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Other coaches have.
No, listen, I'm glad you brought that up, right?
Because other coaches have.
No, right. Those coaches have, right? But you know how easy it is to hire the wrong guy. We've all seen it happen.
Nope,
right?
The organization does a great job at hiring head coaches.
So what I'm saying is,
even sorry-ass Chip.
Right. So what I'm saying is, in the year that he got hired, remember who was all up for jobs? It was Arthur Smith in Atlanta, Robert Saleh,
Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy was he was up for a job. Who else? The guy Josh McDaniel was up for a job. Like it was a bunch of guys up for the job.
Was Frank?
I think Frank was
still in Indy because he was in Indy.
Yeah, because he coached Wentz.
That's right. He was with Frank in Indy. He was the OC.
Right. So I say all that to say the Eagles, they have a formula. They have a way of hiring guys. And I know how easy it is to hire the wrong guy. I think we take that. I think we take that for granted from them. We think that they can just hire anybody and come in and anybody come and do this job. They do a very good job at hiring the right person that fits what they're trying to do. Say it again.
But they have.
They have just hired anybody.
Hired the right guy every time since 2000.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. We take that for granted. We think that's just a given.
I don't.
You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, like, I don't think anybody could have just come in because you can hire the wrong dude. The Eagles just have such a great track record with hiring the right guy since 1999. We kind of look at it as, well, anybody can come in because they have a formula. No one trumps Howie Roseman's sandbox. No one can overtake Howie Roseman. We
That's
believe
right.
that,
Nick
and
didn't
it's true.
Shit. He became part of it.
he became part of something, but I still believe that he brought a certain level of competitiveness and preparation to that locker room. Again, you look at Brandon Staley, right? That team is talented. What are they doing? The wrong guy.
There's no culture in Los Angeles, though.
Right. So and you can make an argument that the Chargers, they've always been talented. Always. But what's the problem? They keep hiring.
It's the front office.
They keep hiring the wrong people.
Yep.
The Eagles, they have a track record of hiring the right people no matter what. No matter how we feel about them, no matter if we think they're over, no matter if we think they're being carried or whatever. We've seen guys screw up teams. Perfect example, Josh McDaniel. Before him, who was the head coach? The guy that took over from special teams. He was the interim.
Versace.
They should have kept him.
Rich Versace.
They should have kept him. They didn't. And they were following that man. Same roster, you bring Josh McDaniel in, look how he looked. So
a Gruden guy, actually, too.
So I look at Nick Sirianni as a guy that, look, he's earned his keep in this NFL. He may not be the most shiniest coin in the chess box, but he fits in what the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to do. And he was blessed to be a part of a system, be a part of a formula that can allow him to be him, as long as he doesn't step on Howie Roseman's toes. And I think above all else, he's mastered that more than anybody else previously.
So he plays along to get along.
Exactly. Is
that coaching?
Some say it again?
Is that coaching?
It can have an influence on coaching, because what happens is, at the end of the day, when you're coaching these guys, you have to bring the best out of your guys. And especially veterans, they can smell bullshit. You played the game. When you have a coach in your building, matter of fact, I put it this way.
I think it's a balancing act that he has to fight between the bullshit and the meddling.
Yeah, like, I don't care how well you get along with the GM. The players can smell BS on you a mile away.
No, the players have to trust you.
So, and because they trust him, they're willing to go the extra mile for him. And when you have players that are willing to buy into everything you're saying, you can't, nobody can tell me he doesn't have a positive influence on the coaching aspect and their success.
Can I tell you that I'm waiting, and this is going to sound shitty, Tone, but I'm waiting for them.
I'm still waiting for something from him, though. He still hasn't earned it all yet.
For them to lose a little bit, and to see how people react to that with him when you have a little adversity. And let me give you an example of this.
Right.
Because I've been saying this to you and bringing up Matt LaFleur.
Right.
I got to tell you something, man. You know, over the last month, Jordan Love slowly walking up the ladder a little bit. It's looking, I don't know. It's not wobbling like it did at the beginning of the year.
2 quality wins.
All of a sudden,
you beat the
I'm
Lions,
seeing the
beat
guy
the Chargers.
Write this guy up, because this is what it was like at the beginning. It was all this. Now he's kind of like, and I never thought at any time the Lions were going to win that game.
Yeah,
I never thought the Lions weren't going to win that game. I thought that they made it close at times, but I thought Green Bay had that game.
The Packers jumped
this. They're 4-5 now. They win another ball game. Shit, man. Let me show you where they are right now. They're in the 8-hole right now.
Packers jumped.
They're at 5-6. And if they win, Seattle loses, they're going to be in that 8-hole.
Yep. They'll be the 7th seed, I think. Yeah, again.
Or if the Vikings drop one.
Right. And listen, those final 6, 7, those final 2 spots in the NFC are going to change dramatically, if you ask me. I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay listen, this is a little sidebar.
I would be surprised if Green Bay and the Rams make a run for those final 2 spots.
Listen, I got a hot take, man. I got a hot take for you. So far, the Seahawks have lost their last 2 games, right? So they're currently on a 2-game losing streak.
I think that goes into a lot with Geno's injury.
No, it does. It does. But hear me out on this, right? I think so far they've lost 2 games. They're on a 2-game losing streak. I think that 2-game losing streak turns into 5. They got the Cowboys on the road, the 49ers on the road, and then they got the Eagles.
0-3 right there.
I have a strong belief that the Seahawks are going to be
that's 6-8.
6-8. 5-game losing streak loading. I believe it. I'm locking that in.
That's 6-8. That knocks them out of there and puts. If the Packers win, that puts the Packers in the playoffs, and you could have shit. Get this, just so you know, the Falcons are sitting in the 10 hole at 4-6. Not that I think they're going to make any kind of run, but I mean, you could see the Rams. Who do the Rams have in the next 2 games?
Next 2 games, the Rams have. I got you right here. Give me one moment. Next 2 games, Rams have they're at the Cardinals.
Win that.
And they're home against the Browns.
They'll win that. They're 6-6.
Bingo. Meanwhile, I think Seattle's going to fall to 6-8.
I think the Vikings fall out of this thing.
Yeah, I don't think they can sustain it. It was fun, but I don't know. Well, let's look at their schedule too, right? Because the Vikings are interesting as well. It kind of works for them too.
You want to hear this, Tone? I think the NFC South is going to have another team with a sub 500 record win that division.
Oh, you mean like you like the South's going to have 2 teams in the playoffs?
No. I think the NFC South is going to have.
Okay. I got you.
Sub 500 like last year's Bucks.
Right.
I think you're going to have a team that's going to be like 8-9. Win the NFC South. So you're going to have some shit like that, which always sucks though, because they're the 4th seed and they're in the 4th hole because they're a division winner. Got you.
The Vikings, they have Bears next, Raiders next, Bengals, Lions, Packers, Lions. It's going to be tough. But I think the Vikings can still win those Lions games. The Lions look vulnerable. Matter of fact, I'm glad we're talking about the Lions. What were your thoughts on them really quickly over Thanksgiving? That thing looked, because they already wobbled against the Bears the last week, and then they come in and they lose to the Packers.
They kind of
that was huge for the Eagles, was it not? Huge.
They're kind of who I thought they were. They're the and now that I look at that Chiefs win, the thing you said about Kelsey and Jones not being there, by far a more impressive victory for the Eagles beating that Chiefs team there than what Detroit did. I think the Detroit Lions are more like the Cowboys. I think they're better than Dallas.
So would you say?
I think both Dallas and them, I don't really think they have championship pedigree yet. I don't think you got to win big games, man. I mean,
so would you say Eagles and Niners are tier 1? Cowboys and Lions are tier 2.
If I were to rank the 4 teams right now after what I saw on Thursday in the NFC, I think and by the way, I'm hearing this conversation by 49er fans. We're better. You might be playing a little better, but you're not beating any better people than what they're beating. And I can't give you that. And you had a 3-game losing streak. And on top of that, their resume is more impressive than your resume. I don't give a fuck what your quarterback is doing or what Jalen's doing. He's knocking these guys and these teams down. You don't get credit for beating shitbag teams. You get credit for beating the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, Matthew Stafford. The Rams are still in it. You get credit for that, dude. You don't get credit for being said for, well, if we had all our, that's part of it. I don't subscribe to that, Tone.
Let's think about this real quick, right? Because the Niners, I'm looking at their wins, right? Okay, so they beat the Steelers, they beat the Rams. Okay, we'll do it like this, right? Steelers, high quality or low quality win?
Steelers?
Yeah.
They're in the 7 hole now. I'm going to say high quality.
Rams, high quality or low quality win?
Low.
Giants, high quality, obviously low quality. Cardinals, low quality win. Cowboys, high quality or low quality?
High quality.
Okay, they lost to the Browns, lost to the Vikings, lost to the Bengals.
Now wait, did they lose to the Browns with Watson?
No. They lost to
PJ Washington. That's a low quality loss even.
They lost to PJ Washington.
Dude, so that's a low quality loss too.
True. They lost to Kirk Cousins and the Vikings.
He was playing well.
Yeah, they lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they were hot at the time.
That's a high quality loss.
High quality loss. Jaguars, They beat them 34-3. High quality, low quality win.
High quality win. Because it was in Jacksonville too.
Yes, exactly. They beat the Buccaneers, low quality. They beat Seattle on the road. High quality.
Was it Gino in
Gino's
there?
hurt.
Oh, no. Low quality.
Low quality. Okay. So now Eagles on the other side of it. Eagles, Patriots, week 1 on the road. High quality or low quality win?
Because it's week 1, I'm going to do push.
Okay. Vikings, high quality or low
High
quality?
quality.
Buccaneers, high quality or low quality on the road? Low? Okay. Commanders, high quality, low quality?
Now that I know now,
yeah,
I think that's a high quality win.
Okay. Rams on the road, high quality or low quality win?
The coach and the quarterback have to make it high quality because, dude, the guy, isn't that crazy? That Sean McVay's still the youngest guy in the league, and he's been in the league 9 years, Tone. He's 37.
Yeah, that's insane.
I'm going to go high quality.
Okay. They lost to the Jets. That's a low quality loss to me because I felt like
it is. It's a horrible
low quality
loss.
Horrible
remember what I said in the first hour.
It doesn't. I know. You don't. Yeah, I know.
The greatest win and the worst loss, and you know who your team is because they're somewhere in the middle.
Right. So Dolphins, high quality win.
High quality.
Commanders on the road, high quality win. Cowboys, high quality. Chiefs on the road in Arrowhead, high quality. So for me personally,
look what they've done the last month.
I think the Eagles have a higher strength of victory than the Niners do. You beat the Dolphins, Chiefs, and the Cowboys. Whereas though their highest quality win comes from Cowboys, Jags, and then after that it becomes a push, right? So this is you can make an argument. As a matter of fact, the Niners
have the best resume. The Eagles have the best resume.
You got to give it to them. You have to give it to them. But again, a lot's going to be decided in the next couple of weeks, though.
How will you look if they win this game against the Bills when you add it to now look at this. Now look at the resume with the Bills on it. Okay, and you do severe damage to the aircraft carrier known as the USS Josh Allen. And you're about ready to sink this bitch at Coral Sea. And you're sitting here now with this thing, and you add that to the mix. So you're going to try to tell me in 3 weeks in a row, you beat Dak, Mahomes, and Allen. I don't know. I really don't know. Someone would go, what were the numbers? Does it matter? Does any number matter to you if you win like
good point?
Because you know what'll be the only thing you'll start saying is this: well, they're winning in spite of Hurts. That's not true.
Yeah, I don't think it's true.
Nobody on that team you're winning in spite of except the offensive coordinator. I'm sorry, I'm not like you and Rob.
No, I would agree with that.
I'm done with him. I'm done. They need a better OC in there for him.
You're completely
grow.
So just so I understand, you're completely off of Brian Johnson. It's nothing he can do to change
there's nothing he can do.
Okay.
See, you know why?
I'm teetering.
Hurts is going to fix it. And Hurts is going to make him look good in games.
Okay.
I've seen all I need to see. I
understand. I respect it. I respect that notion. I respect that.
If it's his call to tell Jalen to do more audibly, I'd like to have that question asked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now is he putting the game more in Jalen's hands like Steichen did? Would you not agree Steichen trusted Hurts more than Brian Johnson? Because it just seemed to me that Jalen Hurts was more open to doing more things that were conducive to his skill set than this year. It's just either that, Tone, or the paycheck is skewing the lines here on how they're coaching him. Something's different.
No. You know what? Let me ask you this, right? Do you think Brian Johnson hasn't gotten the full Jalen Hurts toolbox? And what I'm saying is because, he's been better than knee. He doesn't have the same burst as last year. You know, Shane Steichen kind of had Hurts fresh, like he up until the Chicago game, obviously.
And this isn't his system. This is Shane Steichen's system.
Right. So do you think that plays into what Brian Johnson is doing and not doing because of Hurts kind of dealing with that nagging knee?
Okay.
I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to unpack it a little bit.
Hear me out here.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do is you're saying that he needs a little more time for these guys to get plugged in. And I made the comparison to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson taking half the season to get on the same page. But my question would be, is that those two guys are going to Canton. Why would you put a training wheels offensive coordinator in with a guy who's in the conversation for most valuable player 2 years in a row? What's the point of having a lesser experienced, even if you think down the line he could become a head coach, Tone, and a fabulous coordinator? Why are you experimenting with someone who's never done it with a guy you're paying $50 million to? Wouldn't you want the most experienced and the most coachable, and I mean coachable OC, so that the front office feels comfortable, the quarterback feels comfortable, the head coach feels comfortable? Why not get a guy in there who is a seasoned pro that knows how to develop that style of play versus a guy who's never even coached anyone at that level in that high-pressure job as an NFL OC? It's one thing to be at Mississippi State in Gainesville.
Right.
It's another thing to be in Philadelphia with the runner-up to the MVP with a 9-1 record. That's my problem.
I totally understand that, and I can't even really argue against that, right? Do you think, and this is me just trying to peel the layers back, do you think because they got such a late start on the hiring process after the Super Bowl that it influenced their decision to kind of stay within?
I think the whole problem came on the defensive side, and I think I think what they were going to do, their priority number one was the defensive side, and I think they got caught with their draws down because the Fangio thing was supposed to be set up, and then the whole fiasco with Gannon and the hiring and Vic getting pissed off and how things were going around the room. You know, Fangio took the job in Miami. Remember, they offered and went down and interviewed the defensive coordinator at Georgia. I think he was the second guy in the room that they were going to hire. And then they get Desai. Now, Desai is a disciple of Fangio. From what I understand, Carroll made a hell of a pitch to Howie for him, saying that this guy's this guy's that. A lot of people came to bat for Sean Desai on his style, but nobody knew. He had a little bit of a time up in Chicago when I think he was a coordinator up there for 1 year in Chicago, from what I understand. And he did a little bit of that. He showed signs. Pete swore by him, put a lot of great systems. Now, remember something. When Desai was up in Seattle, they were atrocious on defense. Okay? This last year, they have fixed it. But Pete,
well, they got more talent. They got more talent this year too. They got more talent this year.
That's right. They got more talent. That helped. Obviously, they couldn't stop the run 2 years ago. They couldn't get to the quarterback. They went out and made a ton of moves. So, not all personnel on him. So, I think that whole process, that's when they went, oh, we were going to elevate Brian Johnson anyway because they wanted continuity. And they wanted to, hey, anytime you elevate from within, that's what you're looking to do, Tone. Like when Tony Dungy was developing Mike Tomlin, Lovie Smith, Herm Edwards, and he had all those guys were all on his coaching staff. And
that's
when
insane.
Think about that, and you had Monty Kiffin. So you had Monty Kiffin, Mike Tomlin, Herm Edwards, Lovie Smith. These guys were all on that team and that defensive side of the room with Dungy. Those guys were all being developed to become head football coaches somewhere else. And elevating from within. You know what the Bucs used to do too, Tone? The Bucs used to have a no-contact contract with all these guys that you couldn't hire them because they tried to keep every single one of their guys so that you couldn't come in and raid the place. They would not let you come in and take those guys unless it was a head coaching job.
You don't see those anymore.
No, they don't, because the NFL Players Association, one good thing they did right was get rid of those contracts because that's how you elevate guys from within. Anyway, but you want to elevate. And I get the philosophy. It's not a bad way of going about it.
Yeah, it's not a bad philosophy.
You guys kept saying to me, Tom, oh, they've been boys for this and that. I'm like, that has no bearing on whether or not you're as good OC or not.
Yeah, it's a cool story, but that doesn't really move the needle for me either. So, yeah, again, like you said, the philosophy isn't flawed. It's just that the coordinator just isn't as good as we would like him to be, and it's a problem. It's a problem
because he's not ready.
Man, I'd be ready. It's a whole different ball game, like you said.
Get here, Jesus criminy, man! I wish Eagle fans could see this. The coordinators in the Super Bowl cost you.
Man, don't bring back those memories.
I'm just saying. I mean, why not have as many quality guys around quality players as you can? Tone, if I had Einstein as a student, would I hire a guy out of high school to teach him? How does that make sense?
I get where you're going. I get where you're going with it. You know, I understand completely what you're saying. And then
they're paying Sean Payton $20 million to fix Russell Wilson.
Right. You know, the conversation always goes back to, hey, they're 9-1 somehow. It always goes back to that, right? So
because that's the quarterback.
You know, it's so funny you say
and the organization.
You know, I watched every one of these games many times over, and there are so many situations where I say to myself, why aren't we doing enough to incorporate the short game for Jalen Hurts so he can get the ball out sooner?
They're not creative enough.
And I think that's my biggest gripe with him. The short game isn't throwing a bubble screen 5 times in a row.
Man, they have a really small playbook.
That was when I saw him run 5 bubble screens back to back to back, I was like, oh my God, this guy really had I have no idea who this guy is. I have no idea if he can do this job.
Let me ask you one last question here.
Yep, let's do it.
Don't you think their playbook this year looks smaller than last year?
It does.
Don't you think it's missing a couple pages this year? Here, you want to know what's wrong with the offense? I don't think the playbook's as big. I think they're really good. I think you see a lot of the same numbers, but I don't think you have the same playbook. I think there's about 25 pages missing. You know
what was Shane Steichen? It's so funny you say that. You know what was Shane Steichen's one of his strengths? He was able to give you so many options out of a single play. That's the difference to me between him and Brian Johnson. Exactly. Shane Steichen was so he was so creative at being able to give the quarterback so many different variations of the same play in the same formation, but different outcomes. You follow me? So I think that's what's missing. There is a lack of creativity. No one can convince me otherwise.
We just started seeing some jet sweeps.
Man.
I mean, it's only taken half the season to get there.
It's only taken half the season, right?
Okay. I mean, it's only taken us a couple times. Hey, by the way, last one here. Right. I'm going to say this. I say that Josh Allen throws for 375, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 fumble. I say Jalen Hurts, watch this, throws for 250, 60 yards rushing, 1 touchdown passing, 1 rushing, and he has 29 attempts. And Allen has to throw the ball 50 times. And he'll have a low completion percentage.
I like that. I think his yard. I think Allen's yard to be closer to like 320. But
okay.
But your premise though.
I'm saying 50 attempts though.
Yeah. Your premise is spot on. I think. I think Allen throws for north of 45 attempts. And
think about how this looks. You're almost at 10 yards of play with Hurts. And with 50 attempts at 375, plus the completion percentage, okay, I say he's going to be maybe even north of 50 attempts. 375, let's just say 370. What's the average per play on 370 with 50 attempts?
7 yards an attempt.
Jalen will have almost 10.
Bingo. Math, babe. Listen.
Football, people will go like this.
Football is a math equation.
How can you say that Jalen Hurts won't throw for as many yards? Are they effective yards? And does he turn the ball over?
Football is a math equation. Football's all about math.
You like that? That means we lost. I don't see it that way because that's how you play Dak.
Right.
That you didn't have Dak's numbers, but you did.
2 weeks in a row, Jalen Hurts is throwing like 22, 23, or 24 attempts, and
he's got one 300-yard game in the last 5 weeks, and people think he's going to go for 390 in the game. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to balance the ledger here, Tone. 15 passing TDs, 15 rushing TDs. They're in week 10, and their scoring now is on the scale. They've balanced the ship.
Yeah, again, I've always been a fan of balance. I prefer balanced attacks more than anything because teams can't predict what you're going to do. So why not? Why not?
You know this, man. I'm sorry that if I get distracted a little bit, I'm still thinking of that last leg tonight.
Man, who you telling, dog? I'm thinking about a put. Listen.
Hey, do you like my two? Last night was a 2-buttoner, man. I mean, it was.
Hey, listen. Forgive me if I'm a little sluggish today. I had a plate before I came on camera, so.
Hey, I ate that shit at 9:00 this morning, man. I even had a deviled egg.
Listen, Sills.
Hey, you and them yams. Hey, shut up with you and my wife with them freaking yams. I see them yams. I want to throw up.
Listen, candy yams, collard greens, baked macaroni and cheese.
Oh, my daughter loves
turkey, stuffing, ham, deviled eggs, cornbread, sweet potato pie, apple pie. Come on, man.
Hey, did I ever tell you my chitlin story?
Oh, my God. Chitlins are disgusting, dude.
Hold on.
Chitlins are disgusting.
Now, if you've seen some Italian food, some of that shit, like, have you ever had scungio?
No, I don't know what that is. What is that?
I'm not sure you'd eat it. Chicken and steak fajitas, baby. All right. Hey, Q, chill. Check it out. So Jerome takes me down to like Liberty City, and I'd never seen chitlins or any Southern food. I had not. So I walk in there and I see a lot of these Chinese boxes, and I go like this. I go, oh, what's this? I go, damn, what's that smell? He goes, you got to try this, and these things stunk. So I like crunchy shit, whatever that means. So I take my plastic fork, I eat one, and it smells, but I'm like, man, this is kind of tasty. So I eat another one. Jerome goes, you like these? I go, I think so. He goes, man, that's stuffed intestines. And I said, man, we got kind of like my grandfather used to have like pig's ears and noses and all kinds of shit downstairs. So I'm used to eating crazy shit like eel and you're not eating anything in a jar that, are you?
I just got used to calamari. From
Silence of the Lambs. You're not eating anything out of that.
Listen, I just got used to calamari. Don't even talk to me about none of that.
Ugh. What's wrong with calamari? Why'd you just get used to it? Because you didn't like the tentacles.
It's squid. What am I doing? Like, come on, it's an octopus, whatever it is.
Squid is sensational.
I mean,
oh, dude, you know what? I like it. See, I don't like it fried. I like it marinated.
No, see, you got to be fried.
I like it nice, and cooked and boiled and thrown in there, man. I like to see the suckers on it, man. Cut that shit up, man. Put that stuff in a salad. Hey, by the way, too, I could throw some. Do you like anchovies?
No.
Do you like fish?
Yeah, I like fish. I love.
Wait a minute. What kind of fish? Let me guess. Fish and chips.
Listen, no. I love catfish. I love salmon. I love flounder. I love bass. You know what I mean?
You sound like a freshwater guy. You like trout?
Yeah, trout is good. Yeah, listen. I love my fish fried, man. I love my fish fried.
Damn,
deep fry my fish, baby.
See, here's
deep
me.
Fry my fish.
Nice lobster tail.
I love lobster.
Some scungio. It's the shell stuff. Down like the Southerners call it conch, but it's not. And you cut these things up, and my grandpa used to take them out, cut them out, put them in this jar, and he would put it in Hebrew salt, and it would take all the coloring out of it, make it as white as the paper. Then we cut it up. You get garlic, lemon, salt, parsley, and you turn that thing around. Oh, God, when I die, I want 18 cans going with me like I'm Ramses the Third. Okay, because I'm going to take that shit in the afterlife with me.
Man, so I got so many leftovers. It's ridiculous. Remind you, it's only me and my wife, and me and her cook for like 4 or 5 people. So we got some leftovers, man. We got some leftovers. And as soon as I get off the camera, as soon as I go to break, listen, apple pie in the microwave, baby, or put it in the oven. Whatever happens,
I had
whatever
a
gets done
coconut
first.
cream. I still got the plate in my bedroom. You see, hey, when I have holidays,
glass of milk. Oh my God.
Hey, listen. Oh, I can't drink milk, man, because it's like it gives me gas. But anyway, so what happens is, like, when during the holiday, I don't sleep with my old lady. I sleep in like the spare room because I like to go in there in the middle of the night, just walk in there and go like this. What we got here? Let's see here. Man, where's that roll, man? Put that. I go in there about 10:30 at night, man. Put that plate down there. I'm sitting around and I'm watching whatever. I've been watching The Godfather lately because it's a family movie. You know, I know there's whacking that go on in that thing, but it's still a family movie.
I've been meaning to rewatch that because The Godfather is such a. I love like Italian
hey, who would have thought?
Mobs movies.
Eating, murdering, you know, I mean, drugs and chicks. Isn't that what the holidays are all about?
Hey, listen. You know what's so funny, right? Every time I look at that Thanksgiving food, I feel it speaking to me. You know what it says? Hey, Tone, now you can't leave. Now you can't leave.
Yeah, Yale goes like this. I'm sure your wife likes that. Oh yeah, because she knows, man. Deviled eggs, big cells.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness.
Hey, watch this. I do the ice cream creep walk.
He said that.
Hey, that guy Harlow. Hey, Tone, that guy Harlow, man. I go to my daughter and I go, who is this guy? Mickey Mouse Club? She's like, no, he's a rapper. I go, that's not rapping, talking about your mom folding your socks and put them in your top drawer. That's not rapping. She goes, no, this guy's really popular. I go,
no, he's he's popular, but I don't.
Set up to play both sides of the aisle, so he's marketable. Dude, that guy's just a marketing guy. He ain't really talent.
But listen, hey, man, I don't. I've never. It's so funny. You was like, I probably like that guy. I don't like him in the.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah, he's not. You think you could have brought Eminem out there, man? I would have been cool with that. I would have been cool with Eminem.
The NFL's going to drop Eminem's ass in a halftime
show. You're right. No, you're right.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Tone, you got to.
That's asking for too much. You're right.
You got to think about somebody. You're going to put somebody like Kool Moe D out there. You got to think somebody that's as old as Mick Jagger before you start. You know, they're not putting. No, I was pretty shocked with the Super Bowl when they had all the guys out there.
Oh yeah, you talking about Dr. Dre, Dre, 50 Cent, Kendrick, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige. Yeah, that was Eminem. I was surprised too, honestly, and it went well. It went well. I like that.
Yeah, but I told Cube, man. I said, bro. Oh my God. Hey, Ice Cube texted me last night. I go, hey, I probably shouldn't say it, but I go, hey man, happy Thanksgiving. He goes, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I celebrate good eating.
Hey, listen, I like that. I ain't mad at that either.
I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I celebrate good eating. Hey man, Tone, great stuff, man.
Definitely, I appreciate you. So it's always fun.
You got it. Hey, so 30-21.
Yep, 30-21. Exactly. Yep, that's what I got. 30-21.
You got it. All right, my friend. Appreciate it very much. That's my friend Tone. Don't forget Philly Godfather at 5:30. Happy Wingsgiving from our friends at Hooters. Folks, do me a favor, or the iconic Hooter girls. Want you to know that each day through the month of November, there will be a special every day of the week at the Hooters for the month of November. Absolutely awesome stuff. Cold Coors Light drafts, $2.99, 25 cents goes from each purchase to a local charity. The calendar's 2024. 9 of the girls, by the way, they're featured in this calendar, and there's $100 in gift cards. Lunch specials Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3. Boneless wings. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. 6 items, $6. Try the fried pickles. You'll love them. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, all you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. We so appreciate your business, and thank you so much for being part of Hooters as they've been part of our show this fall here. Go to northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com, and do me a favor. When you roll in, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.